Hey, everybody. Hope everybody's doing good. We're getting ready to get started in a few minutes. I'm just sending out a little invitation to some friends of mine. I hope y'all don't mind, but I always like sending out little invitations to some friends of mine. You know, hope y'all don't mind, but I always like sending out some invites because you never know who's going to show up on the show. And I like making sure that I look out for friends, because again, you never know who's going to show up. And this way, I'll look out for certain people within the community and all that good stuff. And so right now, I'm doing just that. So I hope everyone's having a good time. Um, it's a new day. I got new stuff to share, and it's a crazy time. As always, I'm sharing all this new stuff. I always keep my stuff organic, and I always keep my stuff real, and I try to be transparent as I can. And again, I like being as organic as possible. I like being transparent as I can. Um, I'm going to have some special guests on, some people that I hold in good esteem and everything else. And yeah, yeah, guys. So I'm right now just getting some stuff together, and right now I am putting together a couple things. And if you can bear with me for a few minutes, guys, you know how it is when you first go on live and you're trying to just get in contact with people, and you're trying to make sure that you send out the right info and everything else. And so you're just trying to make sure you get in contact with all your good people. And hold on. So right now I'm just trying to contact some good people real quick. And I'm doing that just right now. I hope you guys are having a good day. It has been a crazy couple of days. And like I said again, I'm just sending out some love to some people. And we're getting ready to go in a minute. I'm going to respond to some of you guys. I don't know if you guys are leaving comments yet. Um, I'm also letting everyone know that we are live. So if you haven't, share it with everyone out there. If you're if you're on YouTube right now, share it. Let all your friends know that we are live right now. That we're running live, and I am sharing the link because some people are just finding out that we are running live. Alyssa, I know you're on. I'm going to be having you join with us in a few minutes. Bear with me for a few. I'll be right with you in 1 second. Um, yeah, I'm going to be with you in 1 second. I'm just trying to get everyone aboard here, and we will be getting you on point. I'm about to send out a couple messages to some people, and bear with me. Um, I'm just, Lord, it's always crazy when you're doing something like this. So I'm letting everyone know on Twitter right now, in the Twitter world, we are live. Join us. We are live. Join us. We are live. We are live. Live. Join us. Hope you guys are having a good day, and join us. Join us. Hold on, guys. I'm about to go live. I tell you, technology is an amazing thing, guys. And if my phone stopped blowing up. Oh man. So I hope you guys are having a good one. There we go. And okay. All right, here we go. Hey guys, about to admit a special guest. Hope you guys are all right. In 3, 2, 1, we have Alyssa. Are you joining us? Alyssa? Alyssa. Here we go. Alyssa, are you there? Hey, can you hear me? Can you get your sound up?
Yep.
Can you hear me?
Can. Yes, can you hear me okay?
Yes, you sound perfect. Your picture is coming in good. Your picture is coming in good. How you doing, Alyssa?
I'm doing well, Eric. Good to see you.
Same here, same here. For those who don't know, okay, first off, everyone, thank you for joining us tonight. This is a special impromptu live planetary diary tonight. You guys that don't know, I have been working feverishly hard. I've been kind of laying low because you guys that don't know, I normally do every Wednesday. I normally do a special guest show dealing with the Orville, anything that consists or deals with the Orville. But of late, because I have been working furiously working on new episodes for Planetary Step, my Orville fan series, we have been working furiously hard to work on new productions. In between that time, I've been doing interviews with people from productions of the Orville, people that move and groove with the Orville behind the scenes and all. And Alyssa and I have been comparing notes. I've been watching Alyssa doing her stuff on her channel, and I've been watching other people in the Orville community showing love and all. And I've been a great admirer of what she's been doing, from her face swapping to all her interviews and everything. And she's been doing such a great job in showing the love and support within the Orville community and keeping the Orville and the Orville spirit live and strong. And so we've been talking about it for a while about collaborating, and between PJ and Orville Nation, between JP and Egotastic Fun Time and Orville Nation and all the other great Orville 24/7. We've been all showing our love and showing our support to each of the different Orville channels and everything. So Alyssa and I have been talking about having each other on our shows and all. We just been like missing each other. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to be spontaneous tonight. I'm going to have Alyssa on my channel. I want her to be able to talk about her channel at the same time, just to have on here and just to be spontaneous. There might be some other people showing up on here to show the love and support, but I wanted to have her on the channel, throw some questions her way, and just for her to have fun. At the same time, talk about what's coming up with us filming episode 2. We are filming episode 2. Yes, we are filming episode 2 this weekend for Planetary Step. Even though we can't give away what's coming up on episode 2, it's going to be a major surprise. I think a lot of people are going to be very surprised. We learned a lot from episode 1. We learned the do's and don'ts, and we took all those notes and learning from what the fans wanted, and we are improving as producers, as writers, as actors, and we are going to up the ante. And we are really bringing in, we brought in someone really special for this episode, and we're going to be talking about that more. And as you see, when episode 2 later on in the upcoming months debuts, you guys are going to be really surprised who we brought on board with us to help us. But in the meanwhile, while we're leading up to that, we're going to be showing pictures on set without giving too much of a reveal of what we're doing with the episode. But after we reveal the episode, we're going to show you how we put the episode together, the people behind the episode, how we made the episode. So it's going to be a lot of fun. While Alyssa when I interview you, I'm going to be sending out some more links to some people behind the scenes in case they want to come on. But Alysia, first of all, let me do an introduction to you. You have been working so hard behind the scenes. And I know, you were celebrating, I think, the 1,000 episode for you. I think
1,000 videos,
1,000 videos. And so I've been watching you because your stuff pops up on my daily feed on my YouTube channel.
Yes.
You've been working really hard. And so I wanted to show my support to you, having you on my channel. To me, it's not a matter of anyone trying to compete. It's just a matter of us showing our love for the Orville because we're strong supporters of it. It shows a brighter future. What Star Trek did for us coming up is, when we were kids and stuff, for TOS for me, Next Generation for me, and I'm pretty sure for you, it was an inspiration. And then what Seth carried on with the Orville, especially now in this day and age, and he brought a totally new spirit of what it means to look into the future. And what Seth and the producers are doing for the Orville right now, what makes the Orville so unique is that the producers of the show recognize that all the support that we're giving the show and keeping the show going, despite COVID, despite everything that's been going on, we're keeping the spirit alive. We're keeping it, and they acknowledge us for doing so. And it's a positive thing. The fan support out there has been strong. You have those kind of doubters out there, and now and then they'll try to poke and say, well, is it ever coming back? And we know that it's coming back. It never bothers me. It doesn't faze me because of the fact that we know it's eventually going to come back. But I love the fact that you've always kept a good, strong spirit about it. You've always tried to be as positive as you can. And I wanted to have you come on. And what made you decide to start your own channel in the spirit of the Orville? What made you get started on that?
Okay, so I have actually 2 channels. The first one I started was sort of a joke back in 2006.
Mm-hmm.
And I really didn't know what YouTube was because when I first heard about YouTube, I thought it was a big joke and everything like that. And I viewed it as America's Funniest Videos where you did a lot of video sharing and everything like that. And then gradually, when I found out about gaming, I started doing a lot of gaming videos and stuff like that. And then gradually, I started finding my voice when I found out about Orville. Now, my first series that I really, really loved, like a very huge passion like this, was basically Star Trek, Star Wars, Stargate, everything science fiction I absolutely loved. But when I got into Orville, it was like something just clicked. I couldn't let go. It was just like I got stuck into the mousetrap. I got the quicksand. I couldn't get out. And basically, I started talking to Orville Nation, and he said, you know what? Well, why don't you start your own sub-channel, or why don't you rebrand yourself? And I said, you know what? I got a better idea. Why don't I start a separate channel that's just Orville-based, and it's my voice. So my second channel is predominantly where I say AVP's Orville voice.
Okay.
So I tell people that it's still me, but it's my Orville version. That way it's more official. So basically, my Orville channel is basically fun videos that I try to put together that make people think, because I'm going to create a message board similar to Gate World was back in the 1990s.
Okay.
So I want to make it all Orville based because the social media world is so toxic nowadays, like Reddit, because I was trying to promote my podcast and they said, you can't do that. There's no self-promotion here. I'm thinking, what? You let me promote my first one, but now the second one, you're saying, no, you can't do that. I said, you know what? Screw this. I'm going to make my own channel. I'm going to make my own voice. I'm going to do it myself and let other people come on. And if you want to talk about Orville, fine. If you want to talk about something else, fine. But let's stick to basically Orville only. And so I gradually branched out and I created my own podcast too, which is now on Pandora and on Spotify. So that's really, really cool that it's grown so much.
Nice. Because, for me, I like that because you never let anyone tell you can't do something. For me, like you, I'm a gamer, and like I have a gaming channel with 2 other gentlemen. We call it Pass the Controller, a gaming channel, and we have a podcast, and we've been around for 4 years, and our game channel grew, having a lot of different people in the industry on our channel. And then for me, with Planetary Diary, talks about the people in the industry, the people that make fan films, the people that make the production of the Orville, or anything that related to the Orville, sci-fi or what have you. And then you have a Planetary Step. And so the thing is, and it expands. You never should limit yourself or let anyone tell you you can't do something. So I'm glad you're able to springboard that and be able to do it. For me, it's what moves you. It's what drives you. So now here we are. You're now like at 1,000 videos. I've seen you interview a lot of, like me, you've interviewed producers, you've interviewed some actors, you've interviewed, and PJ, God bless him, for Orville Nation. He's a great guy to be able to inspire you to want to do that. What has been one of the biggest inspirations for you as far as like, or one of your biggest interviews that inspired you even more so to move even forward, to do more, even more interviews, whether it was a producer or whether it was an actor? What was that one interview that really got your juices flowing to make you say, I got to do more of these?
I would say it was the first one with David Cabeza,
Okay.
Marvel comics and stuff like that.
Okay.
And I sort of dabbled my feet into that and stuff like that. And then I branched out to Lonnie Manella, who's a voice actress in the video game world. And then I said, you know what? Let me take a chance. Let me reach out to Brooke Noska. Let me reach out to Eric Hayden. And then it just blew up from there, so to speak. And I kept telling myself, you know what? The sky is not my limit. The universe is my limit. I keep finding more and more people to interview, more and more people to reach out to. And it's so crazy that so many people say, oh yeah, I know who she is. Like when Eric Hayden was doing an interview with Orville Nation, and I was just in the chat, I was just in there saying, oh, hi, Eric. And he pops up, hi, Alysia, how are you? And that's kind of cool that these people will know me by name. And I'm thinking, you know what? That's kind of cool that these so many people are from so many walks of life are coming under one umbrella. And it's all because of Orville. And Orville keeps bringing us all together. I keep saying, you know what? Let's spread the Orville love. Let's spread it around. Let's make people feel included. Even if you don't understand it, at least try the pilot episode. If you don't like it from there, I'll let it go. But try the pilot and then see what you think from there.
So how's it feel when you're getting embraced by the fandom? Because I know you're getting more love now. So how does it feel now that you're being embraced by the fandom? Like, how does that make you feel?
It's like mind blowing because when I was part of other fan communities, I saw that toxicity, sadly.
Right.
Where I was tell them, don't give me spoiler alert, because when I was watching Smallville, for example, I was watching, and I told people, you know what, please don't give me spoilers, because at the time my late father was in the hospital and he wasn't doing well. And I was telling people, don't give me spoilers, please don't give me spoilers, because I haven't caught up on the episodes. Sadly, they didn't listen to me. And they would spoil it. I was like, oh no. But then with the Orville community, I may not agree with somebody completely, but they always support me and say, you know what? I didn't see that point of view. I didn't see that. But you know what? We all come back together and say, we still love each other. We're still my Orville sisters. We're still my Orville brothers. And I think that's the thing I love so much, that so many people will recognize me for me and say, hey, I know who she is. And they'll ask me for my input and say, is Orville coming back? I'll say, yes, I have connections with production. And it's like kind of crazy. I have to say, little old me, who has not a college degree in a small part of the world, is getting all these worldwide connections with so many well-known people to say, I know this person, I know that person. They go like, girl, you know everybody in the Orville community. I said, not quite. I don't know Seth MacFarlane yet. I don't know any of them. But the thing is, certain ones will know me, like Jay Lee knows who I am. He'll call me, oh, hey, ADP, boom, girl. And I'm like, oh, yeah, hey, how are you, Jay Lee? Or Scott Grimes telling me happy birthday. I mean, it's just like, okay, wow. It's just like sometimes it's still humbling to think, you know what, I still have that fangirlness in me to say, they still love me for me. And it's just because I'm just a fan of theirs and they're all under one umbrella saying, let's support each other.
Right. So let me ask you this. What was the episode that hooked you in, that made you the ultimate, when you realized that one day that you said, I'm an Orville fan, like the episode that just said, that made you say, okay, that's it, you know, I'm sold forever as an Orville fan? What was that one episode that made you an Orville fan?
The very first one.
Okay.
That hooked me in from the very beginning, because I saw that one and everybody kept trying to tell me and talk me down on it, talk me out of it, say, you know what, Seth MacFarlane doesn't have a really good science fiction thing. I said, you don't know what he did with Star Wars. You don't know what he's done with Star Trek. He's a huge, huge fan. I said, if you look at me and you compare Seth, we're very, very similar, because I love science fiction with passion.
Okay.
I have no excuse. My mom was pregnant with me literally and watched the movie Dune. And so if I didn't love science fiction, my mom would be saying, I'm revoking your nerd and geek card right now.
Yeah, to me with Seth, Seth was a kindred spirit because of the fact that, Seth, when I did my own Star Trek fan film series and all, Seth was, he did his own Star Trek fan film series. When he appeared on Enterprise and all, and I was like, oh my God, the fact that he lived the dream of being like, the closest thing I was able to do was to get Stan Lee to appear in my Star Trek fan series. So that was the closest thing. And to be able to appear on the original sets of a Star Trek fan film and have the original sets and be able to work with some of the people. But to me, always for me to be able to have Stan Lee to appear and to be the only one to ever have Stan Lee appear in a Star Trek series, let alone a fan series, and be able to hold that as my claim to fame and say, well, out of anybody, Stan Lee never appeared in a Star Trek fan series or Star Trek film, but my series. So I can hold that and say, well, that's something that Seth and none of these other guys have done, but I did it. Me and my crew did it. So, but yeah, I was such a fan of Seth, not just not just with Family Guy, not just when he did Johnny Bravo, Cartoon Network, but with his music style. Because again, I grew up in the era where my dad got me into the classics and all, during the Frank Sinatra era and everything. So his style of music and the classics and all, and then also his sense of humor. Again, we came through that same era. So it was a lot. And you'll see in episode 2, you'll see this episode weighs heavily on paying homage to Seth. As you'll see in episode 2, you'll understand how I pay homage to Seth in episode 2. And, that's all I can say when you see episode 2. So, but like I said again, it's such like episode 1 really pulled me in. And episode 1, after episode 1, each episode got better and better and better. And I was like, God darn. And everyone always asks me, is there an episode you didn't like? I'm like, there's not an episode I didn't like. It's hard to say which episode was better than the other. To me, as an Orville fan, and I'm not trying to say it was better than Next Gen. It's just, to me, Next Gen has its own thing. It has its own category. Well, Orville was like, to me, Orville is like the big brother. To me, it's like, okay, I went out with this girl back in the 80s and she was hot, but there's this hotter girl I went out with. Don't get me wrong, in the 80s, this girl was hot in the 80s in that era. But this is the girl that I'm going to marry. This is the girl I'm going to live the rest of my life with. And that's the Orville. And see, and that's how I look at it. It's because, like, at that time, at that era, that's how, that was my standard. This is my standard now. And this is how I'm going to be the rest of my life. So that's how I look at the Orville. Because the Orville brought a lot of different elements, and it snuck on you. It snuck up on you. You thought it was going to be in one direction, especially season 2. And I talked to John Cassar about this. It was going in one direction, and then this went in a whole different direction. And you're like, what the hell?
Where'd that come from?
Yeah. And so it got to a point where it was like every episode you did not know where it was going. And I loved it. And they did it in such a way, and they wrote it. The writers, the way it was shot, the way it was filmed, it was going in such a direction. So every episode. So now I have to, I try to not watch over and over again, because I want to do a build up where I'm like, okay, I don't want to watch it again. I'm going to wait till season 3 comes out. So this way I'm like, okay, season 3 is going to come out, okay, at this point. So now I'm going to wait, and I'm going to watch all of them again until season 3 comes out. I got a special little way of getting them on Blu-ray, and I'm like, I'm going to watch them all, and then boom. All right, season 3. So, and it's surreal because, like you said, with Jay Lee, for example, I'm in Jay Lee's class, and the thing is like, talking with him, and we have our talks and on, and of course, as someone who's an actor too, for me, it's trippy, because you're like, okay, you admire these people for the work that they do on these shows, and as someone who's looking from a perspective as an actor from the front and behind the camera and in front of the camera, I know how hard it is. But can you imagine bringing those words off of paper to life? And then for me to do what I'm doing on a level as a fan, and bringing and having a team of writers and saying, okay, we're writing a script based on this series. And then you have Tom Constantino who and Seth who knows what we're doing, and they like what we're doing and paying. And again, we're not making money off of this. We're doing it for the love. We're not getting, this is all coming out of my pocket. I'm not making any money off of this other than showing the love for the series. That's all I want to do, be able to tell stories that takes place in the same universe, and paying homage to my friend Aaron Eisenberg, paying homage to the series, telling our own stories with a whole different crew, and dealing with issues and all of, and telling our own little story arc in the process. So it's a lot of fun. At the same time, be able to give little nods and bring certain people in that we can say, hey, like JP made a cameo and he made an appearance. I had another good friend of mine who did a lot of Star Trek fan series. He actually did the first Orville fan film. He did the original Mariana's Trench. He did the first Star Trek fan film, and not Star Trek fan film. He did the first Orville fan film and the Mariana's Trench, and I was like, dude, you need to be in this series. You need to play as as his character that was based in the Star Trek world, but you need to bring your character into the Orville world. So again, it was showing my paying homage to those people that don't get enough acknowledgement. And and that's what it's all about. It's all about those people like yourself, like JP, like PJ, all those people within the Orville community that does a lot. And I try to do that, to show my respect to all you guys that do all that stuff. So having you on here, for example, I want people to know. So talk about what you've been up to and what you got going on in the near future.
Okay, so right now I am working on my podcast.
Your volume went out. You gotta get your volume back up. Okay. The audio went out.
Let me get that.
Uh-oh. Hold on, we gotta get Alyssa back up on audio.
All right, let's see.
All right, we're back. All right.
So what I'm working on is my podcast. So right here is my lovely Orville notebook where I write down my drafts of every podcast I've written so far. And I have done 3 episodes that are released already publicly. Episode 4 will be released tomorrow night, and I will be sharing it also on my YouTube channel as well. So everybody can listen to episode 4. Basically, with these, they're little bitty nuggets of what's going on with the Orville series. The first one basically gets you introduced, like saying, what is a dramedy? Because I explained that a dramedy is the comedy and the drama put together, and Orville is definitely that. And each episode builds from there. My goal is eventually to bring on JP, PJ, and who knows, maybe even you onto the podcast. That way you guys can discuss your roles in the Orville community so other people can understand we're all under one umbrella. We all have branches, but we all come together and we all support each other. I mean, just like when you were doing one of your videos and I said, wait a minute, I have a podcast premiering that night. Let me shift that to another night.
Right.
Let Eric do his moment of shine. I'll step back, let Eric step in, and I'll step out, and then next day I'll come in. But
yeah, because me and JP have done that before. JP is doing his thing, or I'm doing my thing, and I'm like, okay. Or if you're doing your thing, I'm like, okay, I'm going to not come on this. That's why I haven't done as many, not because I don't want to, it's because I'm like, well, Alyssa, she's doing her thing. I want some other people to shine on a Wednesday, and I'm like, I can always come back and do. And I try to now do it in advance. I'm like, yeah, I got this coming up soon and everything else. So especially with the premieres, and I'm going to be talking about that for you, PJ and JP, where I'm like, I'm going to give you guys exclusives before into the public season, exclusive screenings of episode 2, for example, and everything else. So go ahead. You were saying?
One of the things I do too, which I've been doing, which watch parties for the Orville series, is rewatching from season one. I'm still on season one, but it's so
Okay.
much fun to rewatch because I'm bringing people onto the Orville community, like John A. Reed or Johnny, who's a huge Krill fan, and it was so much fun to bring him on to find out why does he love the Krill, and to find out, okay, I love the Krill because of this. Or Jack Beards, he's a huge Orville fan. It's so cool to see so many people to bring them together. And because I know people from Scotland that love to watch the series, I know people from England that love to watch the series. And you know what? It's all because of that one umbrella called Orville. And I keep bringing people in, and I hopefully will bring out the interviews with more crew members. Hopefully, when they get a little bit more settled down, because I've reached out to a couple of them. Some of them I may have return again, like Eric Hayden. We're still talking about maybe doing the second one in the future.
Okay.
The first one was so much fun because his bird was actually in the background, kept going, hello, hello.
Yeah, Eric's great. Eric's great.
He's awesome. And Brooke is great too. So who knows?
Yeah.
I may reach out to her now that she's engaged. I'm still trying to reach out to Tom Constantino. He's so busy though, poor guy.
Yeah.
But I know that I've been doing his Zoom classes and stuff like that he was doing with I forgot the name of it, but anyway, it was so cool to interface with them to find out what goes all into filmmaking and stuff like that. And like I said, I'm trying to reach out to people, say, you know what, why are you a fan? Why are you a fan? And bring us all together. So that's what my goal is eventually.
Awesome. Awesome.
And eventually open up the message boards too. But after my move, probably after I get my move settled.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So like I said again, so I wanted to, like I said, I wanted to bring you on tonight. Let the fans get a chance to meet you on my platform. Eventually, I definitely want to come on yours. And like I said, I do these impromptus sometimes, and then like I said, I'm going to be talking about my production of episode 2 to the fans real quick. But I wanted to bring you on first, just for the fans to meet you, and then also for people to, for you to talk about what you got coming up, and for people to know about you and the work that you've been doing, and the hard work you've been putting into and everything else, so people can know that there are a lot of great people in the Orville community that do a lot. And I wanted people to, know and feel your energy and all the stuff that you do and everything else. And this is the first time that we have done something together on here and stuff.
Exactly. But yeah, I mean, I try to reach out to so many other fans and include them into it too, and say, hey, you know what, I'm this energetic, you can be energetic too, and say, hey, we're all part of this one umbrella and stuff like that. Let's all support each other. The universe is literally our limit of what we can do. Because I kept thinking, you know what, message boards, and I kept expanding further and said, wait a minute, I got a good speaking voice. I know what I can do, even though I can't make a fan film right now. Wait, a podcast. That's perfect.
And you're doing it, and you're doing a great job of it. You're doing a great job. You're doing a great job, and it's only going to get better. It's only going to get better.
Yes, I'm hoping it will. I'm hoping it will, because I enjoy writing them. I enjoy recording them and stuff like that. Because people say, "Well, what's your next one going to be about?" And I'm like, "Oh, let me think." And I always try to give a little teaser before I finish that episode and say, "Episode 5 is about this, or episode 6 is about this." And right now, I've taken a little break from writing it, but I will definitely write more. But it's like so much that I can include, because people say, "You know what? I don't think you're going to run out of Orville content because you have so much in there." Because I have the World of the Orville book. And they go like, you know what, that's your Bible. You have so much up there. I go like, it's true. I have so much content that I want to disclose. I have the Orville soundtracks I could discuss. I could discuss the series. And I want everybody to know out there that you can reach out to these people too. I reached out to Brooke Noska saying, you know what, I was just as nice, as friendly as I can be, saying, hey, I'm a huge fan of your work. Would you be interested in an impromptu interview? And you know what? She was so nice enough to say, yes, definitely. So if you folks are out there that want to reach out to these people, they're just as human being as me. I mean, I'm flesh and blood just like you. Don't be afraid to reach out to these people and say, I'm a fan of your work. Would you be interested in answering a few questions? The worst they can do is say no, thank you. Because I reached out to certain people and they said no, thank you. But they appreciated me taking the time to say, I'm interested. Like the author, Anna Martin. I loved her books growing up. And I told her what I was doing. I said, you know, would you be interested in an impromptu interview? And she says, thank you, but good luck with your YouTube channel and everything like that. But I really am not available. So I said, you know what? Thank you very much for the consideration. But that's what I'm telling you guys. Reach out to these people they're happy to answer your questions. They're happy to tell you about their lives before Orville and even now. So I reached out to the people in Orville. I even reached out to the people with the Orville fan experience game. They are so amazing. That's the thing that's so cool about this community. Don't be afraid to reach out to these people.
That's right. That's right. Because it's not going to hurt. I mean, like I said, I go, me personally, I do the same. You don't know until you try. And take it from someone who always goes and always attempt. And I'm living proof, just like Alysia is. She's living proof. When you do, you'd be surprised at the results you get. And again, you know, especially because we're showing nothing but positivity out there and all. And sometimes they may not reply to you right away, and you might have to try again and try again. Sometimes they want to see what you do and how serious you are, how determined you are. And, you know, again, you'd be surprised how they reply back to you. There was another podcast I do, and it was someone who I already knew. And this person, in fact, I've done stuff with in the past, but they had a lot of stuff going on. And I didn't hear from them for a while. And I was like, hey, we're doing this thing now. We'd love to have you on. And this wasn't even an Orville thing. This was something else I was doing. And I didn't hear from them. I didn't take it personal or anything. And eventually, like a year or two later, they reached out to me and they were like, hey, I'm sorry we didn't get a chance to talk. Love to come on your platform. Came on my platform, and they really blew us up. And the next thing you know, we were doing all this business together. And so it just, and like I said, they had a lot of other stuff going on. It's just a matter of sometimes the right time, right place. So you don't give up, you always try, and you just keep pressing forward. Shout out to everyone who's like commenting right now, from Many Jenny to J1 Studios. There are a lot of people who are saying hi to us, both you and I, Alyssa. I'm like,
awesome.
Yeah, so I'm like, wow, a lot of people are replying to us. And so I'm like, you know, I didn't even get, I'm like, wow, okay. So hold on, let me just, I'm reading the comments and I'm like, oh man, I'm like, wow, people are like saying hi to us. And I'm like, God, I'm like, I'm like, oh my gosh, hold on. I am like trying to open this up, and it's funny because people are laughing at me and they're like, well, people are saying hi from Mini Jenny, J1 Studios, Magnus. I'm trying to open the live chat. There we go. Ghost Ghostbusters Quick Response Unit. Who else? Mini Jenny, J1 Studios. Let's see. Who else? Let's see. Oh, Liz, okay, you did respond to him. Okay, good. Cast in the Shadows, Mondo, it's Mando Merc.
Mando.
Yes, Mando's always been great. He's been always good. And so yeah, thank you all to you guys who have been making comments and sending the love. We do appreciate it. So Alyssa, thank you so much for coming on. When I make my YouTube thumbnail, I'm going to be showing your picture off. I'm not going to cast your picture on someone else's body. I'm going to use one of your pictures. So I want you to do me a favor. When you come off, send me a good picture of you, because I'm going to make a thumbnail with you on there with me and everything else. I'm going to hook that up, and also I can put you on my thumbnail. But I want to thank you. Definitely, we're going to be bringing you back, and I'm definitely looking forward to coming on your platform to talk about everything dealing with Orville or anything else you like to talk about, because I am a science fiction buff and video game buff too.
Nice.
So yes, so definitely. So what I'm going to be doing, if you want to stay on, you're more than welcome. Because anybody else that wants to come on, that I sent you guys links and you know who you are, you're more than welcome to come on. I'm going to be talking about the upcoming episode for episode 2, the production value. For those guys who know who you are that I sent you links, if you want to come on, the invite is out there. You guys know who you are. Some of you guys already told me some of you guys couldn't make it. I'm going to probably be on here for another 10, 15 minutes. For those who want to have questions, my live chat is open. I'm going to have it open for thank you, Minnie Jenny. I'm going to have it open for another maybe 15 minutes talking about episode 2. We are filming for 2 days on the 22nd and 23rd. It's a 2-day shoot working with J1 Studios, Jace Knockout Productions, Terra Solo Pictures. man, we're doing it up. We got so much going on. We're going to be working with some of the cast members. We got Joe Colton, William J, Lady J Cosplay. We got Magnus. Oh my God. I mean, guys, episode 2 is going to be introducing some more of the cast members from my main cast. I don't want to dive deep into what the episode's about, but it's going to be a really good episode. It's going to be a funny episode. We are raising the stakes. We are really, really putting in the work. We really learned a lot from episode 2. This episode is going to pay a lot of respects to Seth, but at the same time, we are definitely going to be paying homage to a couple things. It's a dream episode that I've been wanting to put together off an idea that I had years ago, but also from Seth's mind. If you guys are true fans of Seth MacFarlane, you will know that this is paying definitely homage to Seth MacFarlane. But I'm really excited. We've been working on this for the last 6 months since the, episode 1 debuted and finished. From working with the scripts with Brian Lessick and Brian Terranova. Brian Lessick, who wrote the script, I came up with the treatment. Brian Lessick wrote the storyline of how we were going to do it. We did a couple of rewrites. We had a table read a couple of weeks ago. Table reads turned out good. We have a couple of special guest voice. Not voice. We had a couple actors, different actors come in, and they really brought their A game up. And like I said, guys, we really, really put our heart and soul into this. Can't wait to work on the soundtrack with Adam. We again, Knockout Studios, Jason Knockout Studios. He's about to put that work in. Jason Richardson, J1 Studios, about to put that work in directing. He worked on the storyboards. I mean, I just looked over the storyboards. Holy crap. He did such a slamming job on those storyboards. I'm like, wow. And I'm looking over the storyboards as soon as I come off live tonight. Again, guys, everybody's bringing their A game. All I can say is wait till you see what we're bringing to the table. Okay, so Ghostbusters Quick Response Unit asks, what would you say has been the greatest challenge in making the fan film series? The greatest challenge for me is bringing together great people and learning from each other and making us a stronger unit and a stronger group. While I'm going through some stressful times, some stressful moments, this has been the relief factor. I've been dealing with some stressful moments, dealing with, some personal issues, but this has been my relief and taking my mind off of these things. At the same time, working with a group of people and us getting stronger as a group, as a crew, and becoming a tighter group. So yeah, and learning our strengths and becoming more stronger, and not falling apart at the seams. So that's what I've learned as far as been our greatest challenge, but also became our greatest strength out of that challenge. So yeah, that was a good question. That was a very good question. Thank you for that question. So let's see. Minnie Jenny asks, what are you most excited about your new episode? What I'm most excited about with the new episode is being able to introduce new actors from my cast, like actors that I've been wanting to debut on the series, being able to step up our A game from what we did in episode 1, from the pilot episode, from the Halloween episode, and really show the audience what we can really do. Each episode, we want to bring something better than what we did in the prior episode, listening to what the fans want, and maybe not being, we want to be just as good as an episode of the Orville, or as something as you would see on the Orville that's just as good. Maybe because we don't have the money like the Orville, but something that if you were to watch the Orville and you want that that like, okay, I need something to keep me going, like an Orville, something Orville light. This is something just as good as the Orville. Well, this is our, where to go to. And again, this is something that we're looking forward to doing. We want to be that go-to when you need your Orville fix. Not just repeating, just watching Orville episodes, but being that go-to Orville when you need that Orville fix. So that's a good question, Minnie Jenny.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm trying to answer some more questions here. Let's see. That was a good question. If anyone else has some questions, please throw them our way. If you have any questions for Alyssa, and she's here right now. Do you have any questions for her about her show, her podcast, or any advice that you need as somebody that wants to look into it, as far as wanting to be a podcaster or just striving for anything, please ask her, or any other questions you might have. This is the time to ask either one of us, or what's it like for either one of us having our own podcast show. Shoot, Minnie Jenny says she loved the Halloween episode. Thank you. The Halloween episode, you got to give it credit is due. Jason Richardson is the one that directed it. My wife, who played as the Dr. Lori Green, she and Magnus, they were the ones to put it all together. It was written by Brian Lessick, and it was crazy because they were putting something together, and it turned out good. I was kind of like, okay. So, and then of course, shout out to Jace and Knockout Studios for doing such a good job putting the whole special thing together. I'm looking at some of these questions. Let's see. Okay, I'm waiting for more. Okay, here we go. Another question. All right. So for Alyssa, what was your biggest challenge producing a podcast?
I think my biggest challenge was basically taking the time to slow down, because I tend to talk kind of fast. And so I had to tell myself, I'm going to limit where I'm talking for 20 minutes and make sure I have content where it spreads out and everything like that. So basically, my advice would be slow down what you're going to say, write down an outline of what you're going to say tentatively, and then start recording it. It's basically trial and error. I use the program Audacity to record my podcast. I have a wireless microphone. You don't have to buy a very expensive one. Mine, which I happen to have right beside of me, is very, very inexpensive. It's like $20. And it's very, very inexpensive. You can get that. You can also contact Fiverr for royalty-free music that you can put in there. That's what I'm using for mine. Just slow down, figure out what you're going to say. And then if it doesn't sound right, talk to other fans, talk to other people and say, you know what, how does this sound to you? What do you think about this idea? If it doesn't sound right to them, take it out, restart, and then keep going. But if it sounds good to you and nobody turns it down, go for it. It may take 20 takes, but take your time with it. It doesn't have to be done in a single day. Just enjoy it, basically. Have fun with it. Because I have a lot of fun with recording it, and then I'm looking at the clock and I'm like, oh, it's been 20 minutes. But basically just enjoy it so much. I mean, just take your time with it and just keep going with it and just make it an enjoyable experience. But also make sure you have original content. You don't want to steal ideas from someone else either. That way you avoid copyrighted. Because that's one reason why I have, yes, the episode titles, and some of them, like one of my episodes is called Old Wounds. How can they be fresh and new despite being called old? Yes, I have the Orville episode title in there, but I added other stuff into it. So what I'm trying to say is make sure that if you do something, make sure you make it your own. Don't steal it from someone else and copyright it. Please don't. Make it your own. Make these your own personal things.
That was good. That was good. So Minnie Jenny says, I love the Orville, and you guys do an amazing job of bringing that Orville flavor to life. Thank you, Jenny. Okay, so now Minnie Jenny also says, are you making a blooper reel? Okay, are you making a blooper reel? I know that's silly, but I love them. And Alyssa, what is your favorite part of putting together any project? So I'm going to answer the first part, and then you get the second part, Alyssa. Yes. All right, so yes, we made a blooper reel in the making of a planetary step for the pilot episode. If you go back on my YouTube channel, you'll see the making of, and if you don't see it, I'll send it to you after I do this episode. I'll send you, Jenny, the making of a planetary step. I'll send you the very first blooper one we did, and Jason was the director of that episode. It's like the first mini documentary of a planetary step, the pilot episode. Now, Alyssa, what was your favorite part about putting together any project?
I think watching it all mesh together. I mean, like when I'm doing my interviews, I have like the video portion of where I'm doing the intro, and then I put in the portion where the star comes in, and then I mesh it together. And I think I love how after I blend it all together after editing, sometimes I've done it with very little sleep. Honest to God, guys, I've done it with maybe 2 hours of sleep under me, but I've done it, and it came across really, really well, surprisingly. But I did the interview, but I just love how it looks at the very end to know I did this and it all came together. I mean, it takes a lot of effort basically, but basically once you see that final project and you hear it or you watch it, it's well worth it.
Nice. Let's see. So right now, the questions are being really good. So remember, don't forget, Alyssa, I need that picture of you so I can make sure I put it up. Yeah, I need a good picture of you because I want to make sure I put together that thing for my channel for you, yes, for my episode of you. Let's see. Susie's on here. JB's on here. He sends this. Susie's like, yay, Susie. That's my girl, Susie.
Aww.
JB's on here. He's sending some love. What was I going to say? Minnie Jenny are the people that made our exclusive figures.
Yes.
Yeah. And for those people that don't know, and I'm just going to give them a shout out. Minnie Jenny are the people that did our exclusive planetary step figures for the series. So if you're looking to get exclusive figures from our series, or you want to get custom figures made of you or your family members in union uniforms, you can get your own custom figure made from Minnie Jenny. Go to my my Instagram channel to find out more on the Smoke 007, and you'll look up and you'll see Minnie Jenny on there. Or if you want to get figures from a planetary step from them, you order the figure, and we will, from the cast, will personally sign them for you, and you can get your own personalized figure with me on there. And everything on here is awesome. It's awesome. Each of the cast members. So they will hook you up. They're awesome. Minnie Jenny is awesome. Let's see. Smoke, are you going to be doing Retrocon this year? Yes, I will more likely be making an announcement about Retrocon this year. And yes, I will more likely will be a guest. I was already approached about being a guest. If everything goes right, I'm already fully vaccinated. I will be a guest this year for Retrocon. So yes, more likely I will be there for Retrocon this year. So yes, to answer your question. She loves it. Jenny loves it. Yes, Susie, yes. Make sure you hit them up. They will do awesome work of you. Trust me, you deserve to get a figure made of yourself. I would even buy one of your figures. I'm gonna keep it real. So we are almost out of time, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank Alyssa for coming on. First, I want to thank all of you guys out there. One, for coming on the show. Two, for asking some of the awesome questions. You guys asked some really great questions for both me and Alyssa, which was awesome. Having the most awesome guests I have on here to date. Alyssa, you are an awesome guest. Not just as a guest, but giving that energy and talking about your love for the Orville, your love for just, life, and just talking about your love for the fandom. But I got to ask you this. Who's your favorite character on the show? That's one question I didn't ask.
Ed Mercer, obviously.
Oh, you love Ed? Oh, you love Ed, huh? Okay.
Ed is basically me, even though I look like Kelly, because I have Kelly's hair color. But I am totally an Ed basically because I love music because I know that musical genre that he loves so much when he's always playing it. I'm like, oh, that's so much me. That is so much me. But Ed is definitely my personal favorite. That's why I have my Captain hoodie.
I'm more partial to Bortus. I for a lot of different reasons. I like Bortus for so many different reasons. Of course, I must return to the dance. I must return to the. But I also like Ed too. So it's a little bit a toss up between Ed and Bortus because like I'm sympathetic to Ed from all his plights and everything else, but at the same time, but I like Bortus. It's like he's like in certain ways he's Worf light, but he's Worf light, but but Ed is like, well, damn, he's the everyday guy. It's like you're rooting for him. At the same time, you can relate to him. He's a relatable guy because he's going through like all the shit. Like you're like, God damn. I'm like, you can't win sometimes, but at the same time, you're like, but at the same time, he's like, yo, he goes through all this crap, and he's relatable. He's a relatable. He wrote it in a way where he's relatable. He's flawed. He's flawed. He can, he's human. He's not Captain Kirk, but he has the qualifications of a captain, of a good captain, but he's flawed. He's not perfect, and sometimes you're not always going to agree with him, but you can understand his point of view sometimes. So, let's see. What did Jenny say? Let's see. Okay. Everybody's just talking to everyone. So, Alyssa, thank you so much for coming on. We're going to, and I timed it right. Yes, I timed it right. I wanted to make sure I'm not going to go over an hour. I want to time it right. Now, if we have more people coming on, I'm like, yeah, we'll probably go over an hour. Yeah. But no, thank you so much for coming on. You are an awesome guest. I'm looking forward to having you come back on.
Definitely.
I was waiting for 2 or 3 other people to possibly come on. Then we were going to have a big party, but that's fine. We made it a party ourselves.
Yes, an Orville party.
That's right. But yeah, definitely I want to talk more Orville with you when episode 2 is just about done. I'm going to probably have you come back on. We do a non-spoiler talk without revealing too much.
Nice.
Cannot wait to get you, PJ, JP on here and talk about episode 2 without revealing it. It's gonna be cute because you'll understand why I'll be like, I can't reveal it yet. I don't want to tell my hat, but you'll understand why in the prologue, you were like, okay, I understand why. Damn, and I just got something. I just got something on my text today, and I'm really excited now. So I'm like, I can't talk about it. So
I know it's hard to hold it in. Yes, I know how that feels.
Yeah, I want to tell people, but I can't tell anyone. I'm like,
right, exactly. That's how I feel when I have all these interviews. Like, I want to tell you, but the thing is, here's the thing, guys. One thing too, if you guys can help me out with this, if you notice any little Easter egg or little references that Seth has done in Orville, please send them over to me because I'm trying to compile those all together in one particular episode for the podcast. So we can say, hey, these are all the Easter eggs that we've noticed in Orville, and this is definitely a homage to this. So,
well, you know what? It's just like my friend, real life Peter Griffin.
Oh yes, he's awesome.
Yeah, Robert is a good friend of mine. Robert is also going to be one of the series. He's one of the series cast members, and one of the episodes of Family Guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Peter makes a reference. Well, okay, there's an episode where Peter and all of them are talking, and he said they make a reference to the, Seth and all of them come on to the show. You hear Seth and them in the background. He's like, yeah, we're the real voice actors of the characters.
Oh, right.
And so he said, wait a second. And they make a reference to, he said, well, wait, isn't there a guy who does? He said, please, let's not talk about that guy, because next thing you know, they make a reference to Robert, and and everybody was calling him up. And so he does a quick video off of that. He does a video of him as Peter, like, hey, and he does a little like a Family Guy moment, but was so funny because he acknowledges him. Seth actually gives me a shout out for when season 1 ended, and I automatically was one of the first people to get a union uniform. I automatically sent him a picture and I said, I'm ready for it to be signed up for the Orville.
Right.
And Seth automatically reposted it on his page. And I was like, he said, hey, this guy's looking snazzy. I'm like, yes. And he posted my picture. So the fanboy in me at that time was like, yes, and all that stuff. So, but since that time, I'm like, yes, I'm mellowed out. Yeah. I'm so, and you would think, me working in front of the camera, being in TV and movies, I'm like, damn, I can't believe a fanboy. And I'm like, I'm used to like working with other celebrities. I'm like, God darn it, But he's one of those people that I admire on both in front and behind the camera. So, hold on, wait a second, hold on, we got a special guest. Hold on, and it would happen, ladies and gentlemen. I give you, ladies and gentlemen, I give you the one, the only, Dr. Brian Terranova. Hey, Mr. Terranova.
Hey.
How's it going?
Oh, good. I'm late.
Yes,
but it's good.
Yes, it's good. Alyssa, I introduced you to one of our other head writers, and
hello.
In so many other directions. This is Brian Terranova. This is Alyssa, who has her own Orville podcast show.
Nice.
And Brian has also done Doctor Who series with me called Doctor Who Torchwood series called Legacy. And as you can see, he's also very much recognized he's widely respected and widely known as the 10th Doctor. For those who don't know, he's one of the top Doctor Who lookalikes for David Tennant lookalikes out there. So for those who don't know,
I've just been redecorating.
Yes. And he has a real full-on TARDIS in real life. No joke at all. I have somebody here, Brian, that kind of has a hairstyle similar to yours.
Oh no! You're not doing that, are you?
Huh?
You're not doing that, are you?
We're not talking about that right now. No. I wouldn't do that to you right now. Oh my God. We can't talk about that right now. Yeah.
Harmless.
You talk about timing. You timed out. You must have knew. I was like about to close the shot. He's like, I'm doing it right now.
I got home and I saw the invite and I'm like, shoot, I'm late. And then I hopped onto YouTube and I saw the live show. And I know there's a little bit of a delay, but you were like, oh, I'm timing it to end exactly at 8. If more people popped on, and I'm like, I'm trying right now. So I don't know how much I missed from then on, but there you go. We don't have to extend too long. I hopped in. So.
Well, no, listen, go ahead. You were saying?
No, I'm just teasing, saying he missed everything.
I definitely did.
I talked about you earlier. I was saying, how great of a, guest you were. Now, Brian, without revealing what I'm going to send you, because I can't reveal what it is, I'm going to send you something that was just sent to me earlier. Without saying anything, tell me what you think. I just sent it to your phone. Without revealing what it is, tell me what you think. It just got sent to me, and it's going to be sent in the mail tomorrow. But tell me what you think without saying what it is.
All right. Well, there's a bit of a delay. So right now, I don't think much. Oh, that's not what I'm supposed to be looking at, I'm sure. Yep, still waiting. Let me tell you, right now it's great. For those watching, I'm sure this is wildly entertaining.
Oh man.
We'll come back to that in a moment. But yeah, it just got sent to you today, so my anticipation is growing.
Actually, it's getting sent to me tomorrow. But
okay.
But I wanted to be unexpected and just send it to you so I can see your reaction. Well, I DM'd it to you on your Instagram.
Yeah, it's not, time is traveling slow for Time Lords, apparently.
I was going to say, wait, you're a Time Lord. You're a Time Lord.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it. Time and me. Not getting on these days,
Timey-wimey?
Timey-wimey.
So, Brian, since we have you on here, Alyssa, just to let you know, Brian is one of our head writers for Planetary Diary, but he's also been a writer. He works also closely in the Doctor Who community. So if you ever wanted to ask a question as far as Doctor Who community or anything, this is an opportunity for you to ask this gentleman here, because he is the know everything on Doctor Who or Orville or anything science fiction, and he's one of the most respected entities in the Doctor Who community as well.
Entities. I'm putting that in my official bio.
Yes.
A respected entity.
Okay, Brian, what Doctor Who references have you seen in the Orville series by any chance? Because I know some people say Seth MacFarlane is not a Doctor Who fan, but I have seen one in the science fiction one where he did the Family Guy one, where he went through that time tunnel kind of thing. We hear the Doctor Who theme. Is there any others that you have seen that he has referenced by any other chance?
You know what's sad here is I was going to try and cut Eric off because he says Doctor Who and all things Orville, but he knows where I'm at in the Orville, right? So I watched about the first season and about half of the second season, and it was great. And don't get me wrong, I've been meaning to pick it up again, but life has a way of doing things where you don't pick things up again. Matter of fact, I literally came in. I tuned into this podcast or this live feed that you both were doing when you were talking who your favorite character was, Alyssa, and you were saying Mercer.
Yes.
And I was sitting there, and I think you said Mercer and what's the other guy's names?
Bortus.
That's it. Okay. Mine is Isaac. Totally sidestepping your question, but yeah, I wanted to throw that out there to show like the Orville. The Orville is an enjoyable show, and I do actually, and I'm trying to get back to it, but I remember there being something in the first season, because there was a time travel episode in the first season, and I swear there was a reference in there, but none of them are coming to my mind, unfortunately.
Charlize Theron.
Freedom was also when they went with the mad idolatry, where they basically did the time jump into the future with Isaac and stuff like that. We saw Isaac like 400 years into the future, so that was a time jump story as well.
There you go. Yeah, so to be honest, and Eric and I keep talking about it, that I have to catch up, and again, I feel terrible because I just haven't. Long story short, there is a reason why I stopped. Life changed for me. I moved state and so on, and I just kind of it got lost in the mix, and I'm behind.
One of the fans said you got caught in a temporal rift.
That's correct.
They literally said that. He said the Ghostbusters quick response unit said he got caught in the temporal rift.
Yes, he did.
That is my official agent right there speaking for me, letting me know about the events that caused me to not be able to see the Orville so far. So thanks for that. But no, honestly, I would love to go back and rewatch it. Like not only catch up, but rewatch it for those kinds of things, because there were lots of fun. But, he's a big nerd, and he's throwing in the references. We did the same thing when we did the Legacy series. We threw references in where we could to things that we enjoyed and so on. And that's one of the most fun of things is paying homage in some way to the fandoms that we enjoy. Good question. Wrong person to answer it.
Fair enough. I will give you that. Well, when you get it rewatched again, then come back to me.
Yes, absolutely. I'll tell you, I've seen Doctor Who references in many shows. I mean, including one I would have never thought, which was Criminal Minds. And it's multiple times throughout that show, and I'm just like, this is okay. So you find them everywhere. You find the Doctor Who nerds everywhere. You find the Star Trek nerds everywhere. The Orville nerds. We're all over. So it is fun when you find the references and things, and sometimes you even find a reference that they probably didn't intend to be a reference, but you're sitting there going, I know that one, and then you're like, oh no, wait, but it still holds.
That's true, because I came up with myself, because I have my own theory about Isaac, about who he's referenced, because people say, oh, he's after this one, he's after like 3PO from Star Wars. I said, no, here's what you guys have never thought of, and everybody go like, I hadn't thought about that. Have either one Hellboy 2, The Golden Army, okay? Dr. Klaus, Who does that voice? Do you know who does Dr. Klaus's voice?
So, as Seth does.
Exactly. So what about this? What if Dr. Klaus is loosely based on Isaac?
That's a good point. I never even thought about that.
See? Everybody says that. They've never thought of that until I mentioned it. They're like, oh.
Because I met the actor. Now I met I'm friends with Doug Jones, but I met the actor, the physical actor that played as Dr. Klaus. But at the time, and this is early 2000, when I met the actor, I didn't know at the time that Seth was the voice of Dr. Klaus at the time. So, and it was funny because when I was hanging out with Doug, it never dawned on me that this little guy who was playing as Dr. Klaus was just the actor, not the voice. And so years later, I was like, "What? Seth was the voice? Holy crap!" So you learn something new every day. So, but so I wish I could tell you guys more. Other than Brian being the writer, he does a lot more for the show. More will be divulged as the months go on for Brian's other jobs on the show, what he'll be doing on the show, as far as what he contributes to the show. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait. And so Minnie Jenny says Hoovian household here. So
yeah.
So Minnie Jenny, the Minnie Jenny is the one that designs our figures for the cast. So when the time comes, that's going to be crazy for you. So, but yeah, like I said again, so Brian, so Alyssa, do you have any other questions for Brian since we have him on?
Make them all Orville based.
Let me think.
I'm disappearing into my TARDIS. What is happening?
Let me think.
Oh, Brian, did you get the image?
Oh, yeah. We can eat up some time that way. No, I think you lied to me, to be honest. I don't think you sent me anything. You probably sent it to somebody else.
Please don't
as
say
you
that.
always do.
No, I couldn't have.
Go on, Alyssa, while Eric's searching for his mistake. It's me. I'm the mistake.
So about how many podcasts did you write per season for your podcast by any chance?
Oh, the Castorberus podcast?
Yes.
Oh, man. You know what? We started in 2007, and our first podcast ever was a vidcast, actually. We thought it would be fun to do a video one. Failed miserably. And then we did Christian. So let me preface this. Christian Cawley, who he and Anthony Dry started Castorberus.com. I joined them a little bit later. Christian and I started the podcast. And while I like to think we're entertaining guys, it wasn't until James McLean came by and really shaped us into what we are. We used to do them weekly. So to give you an episode count, I mean, we did them for like the better part of 11 years or 7 years, one or the other, but we did them like straight every Sunday or Monday. We put one out. So I would say yearly, like we did them. We may have missed something here or there, but yearly it was I would say 52 because we did them weekly.
Okay.
Then we got into a point where life started to get a little bit hectic and we kind of slowed things down a little bit. But we just did a new one, actually. So thank you for plugging the podcast. We just did a new one recently, which actually speaks it speaks volumes technically right now to what's going on with what we're doing with the Orville, the Star Trek world, and even Doctor Who, because did you hear the new one? Did you know this? You didn't. Was this just coincidental? Because that's great. It's perfect. In the Doctor Who community, the BBC is apparently starting to crack down on some fan projects. Now, I'm sure they're cracking down on ones that are profiting from them, which of course, it's not our property. We shouldn't really be profiting from it. We should be having fun with it. We should be celebrating.
Right.
And in the Star Trek community, we all know what happened there. And then there were rules put on fans by Paramount. And I started seeing friends of mine telling me that like previous episodes of their work were just quietly being taken down, and then other people who new projects just disappeared, and we were all sitting here saying, certainly in a TV show like Doctor Who, there were like 16 years, what we call the wilderness years. 16 years the show really wasn't on the air, ended in 1989. It wasn't until 1999 that Big Finish Audio started making radio dramas. Of course, there were books and there were comic books, and there was a TV movie in 1996, but fans really kept the flame alive in many respects by finding ways to celebrate the show. And so Eric and I made our Doctor Who series. I made a couple other short little Doctor Who films before that. Plenty of others before me made Doctor Who films, obviously, one of the longest ones being Devious, which we're all still anxiously awaiting seeing that be finished, which it is, but we haven't seen it fully yet. Supposedly it's finished anyway. But so the new podcast is out all about how we feel that, fan creativity kind of not only sparks interest for the show, but it helps create avenues and work and futures for the fans. Because if you look at Big Finish, the main producer, there's the main guy, Jason Haig-Ellery, and I hope I said that correctly, and then Nick Briggs, one of the biggest producers right now of Big Finish, and he's the voice of the Daleks. If he wasn't allowed to do the BBV audios that he did years ago, the Mythmakers audios that he did, the fans audio series where he played the Doctor and the Daleks, would he have been the Daleks in the new series? Would we have these radio dramas now? Russell T Davis, David Tennant, Peter Capaldi, all in Doctor Who. Seth MacFarlane, started making Star Trek fan films, and look where he's at. And it's all about the stifling. Like, do you really want to stifle fan creativity entirely? I absolutely understand you don't want them profiting from it. Totally get it. But do you want to shut them down completely? I think it's a mistake. I think it's it should be celebrated. And in many ways, the Orville is celebrating fan films, and I think that's wonderful. The producers seem to be very happy with what we're doing. So how many did we produce? For a long time, I would say we were pretty darn close to 52 episodes a year. In more recent years, we've been slacking a little bit, but we're getting there again.
Great. Yeah, because I was just asking because I've written about 12 episodes myself, and I've published 3 of them. The 4th one will be published tomorrow. So I was just asking to get basically a basis on how many episodes I need to do for my podcast, because it's all me doing it. I'm writing them all. I'm producing them all myself. I'm not doing it for money, guys, but I'm just doing it for fun, because let's face it, I love Orville, and I want to share my love. Basically, it's my gift as a fan to the fans to say, we're all under this umbrella of Orville, and let's share it together, basically.
So let me ask you this. On your podcast series, you say you write them, is it like, what's the theme of your podcast when you write them?
Okay, so this is my notebook.
Okay.
And I basically try to gear that one particular episode to a particular theme. So the first one, a lot of fans don't understand what a dramedy was. So I basically took that whole episode and explained what a dramedy was. Then the next episode, I would explain, say, why the music is so special in the series. The next one, I might discuss why are the guest stars so special on this one. And I might mention maybe 10 or so notable guest stars that we've seen on the series and why they're so special to the series. Things like that. So I basically focus on that one particular thing. And one thing that I do for the upcoming ones, I always try to say, hey, stay tuned for episode because it's going to be discussing this. And so I always try to keep people engaged and stuff like that. And I always say, hey, if you have any ideas, share them with me. Right now, nobody has. But I always say, you know what? I have a lot of references that I've seen on the series, but share me your references. Share me the Easter eggs that you've seen on here, because I asked one of my friends and she says, I don't think I'm going to be able to catch up with you. I said, look, just share with me once you get it ready, that's fine. I'm not in a huge hurry for it right now because I've written 12. And she's goes girl, you were putting these out there so fast. I go it's kind of hard to stop my pen once I start writing it, because I love to write so much. And it's the universe is literally my limit. So I just expanding further and further and further out there to say, what do I want to write about next? What do I want to discuss next? And it might be something as simple as something like I said, with Dr. Klaus, who knows? Maybe he's a reference to Isaac, or is Ed Mercer an alter ego for Seth MacFarlane, or the love stories that are on the Orville series? Because people say, oh, I see these love stories, but I only see this. I go like, wait a minute. There's more than those love stories. There's these love stories too that you hadn't thought about. And they go, oh, yeah.
And that's great. And absolutely. I mean, the more that you write, as they always say, when you're a writer, just write. They always just tell you just write, and like, who doesn't have writer's block? Obviously, there were times Eric and I were trying to work on a story and I was racking my brain. And then one day, without fail, I'm in the shower and the idea comes to me and you can't write anything down. So then like, I'm trying keep this idea, run real quick. Where am I get to the computer?
Where's my favorite? Yes.
Yeah. And by then, like the lines, the dialogue that was in your head or that situation is slightly different. And you're like, what was it? What was that thing I said? But no, I don't think you need to have an episode count. I don't think that you need to decide I must do these amount of episodes per year. That was one of the toughest things with us with the podcast. If we would miss a week, we would feel bad. And then we're like, we missed a week. And then we realized if people like what you do, they'll just be happy when content is uploaded and they'll come back. Of course, everybody would be happy with more. Who wouldn't want to have more episodes of your favorite TV show and so on? But if you get in a rhythm where you're doing one a week, and you're doing that for 3 or 4 months. And then after that, you like skip maybe a month because we all need time to re-energize. And I always call it a mood. I always say that, I'm in the mood for Doctor Who right now or something like that. Mm-hmm. And then I'll want to dive in and do everything Doctor Who. And if I'm in that mood, great. And then after a little while, maybe I'm in a mood for something different and the Doctor Who goes a little bit by the wayside. So therefore the podcast might suffer a little bit. By and large, people come out and still enjoy. And that's the fun thing. You're still capturing the people who enjoy what you're doing. And I think that's the important thing. But more importantly, you're doing the thing that you love and it's being appreciated. And that's wonderful. So yeah, I don't think you need to adhere to an episode count. I think what you need to keep doing is exactly what you were doing there and seeing these parallels, coming up with these ideas and putting that pen to paper and bringing it to other people's attention. Because I guarantee you, a lot of people sitting out there are going, I've never thought of that. That's really cool. Exactly. And that has turned me around on episodes and movies. Somebody else's opinion, I would sit there and I'd go, wow, actually, this is pretty good now. So yeah, I think that's great.
Yes. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Because like I said, everybody's been so supportive of me with this podcast journey, my YouTube journey with the Orville stuff. They keep saying, you know what, go for it. They understand that I'm doing things a little bit on hiatus because I'm in the process of moving out of the state. And they just go like, you know what, when you're ready, come back. We'll be ready. We're not going anywhere. Just do what you're ready to do and just do it. Yeah. So I do what I do. I do my watch parties. I do my interviews when I'm able to do my interviews. I do my podcast when I'm ready to do them. And everybody says, here you go.
Yeah. And that's great. It's just do your thing. Just do it when you can.
Oh, yeah.
People are going to appreciate the content when they can find it. Who doesn't go on a random search of YouTube some days just to find a new video on something that they like? That's how you also find new content creators as well.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
I should say that Eric's photo has come through. Not going to spoil anything for anyone, but
yes,
that's
please
totally
don't.
Worth it, man. That is totally worth it.
So you like it?
Yeah, that's so great. It's so great. Anyway, I'm sorry. That's wonderful. Do they know what's happening this weekend?
Does who?
The viewers. Do they know? Like not.
No. Oh, they know we're filming.
Okay, that's all. That's what I meant in general.
Yeah, they don't know what okay. They don't know what we're filming. They know we're filming.
Yeah. I am unfortunately going to be missing a day of filming, but I'm going to pick up the other day, and I'm going to be looking forward to seeing things like that. Is all I'm saying.
They don't know what we're doing, but they know we're filming. They just don't know what capacity we're filming. But they know we're filming. Oh yeah, they know we're filming. So I'm like, oh yeah, they know we're doing it, bro. They know. So I can't wait. I'm ecstatic. I'm totally ecstatic. So yeah, but so Alyssa, I want to thank you for being on the show. You were awesome. You're an awesome guest. I had to. So this is what I meant by yeah, we have more people to the party. It would have been a lot longer. This is what I meant about a lot longer. So now that Brian's here, this is what I meant. Like, now watch. I get ready to get off and watch. Someone else is going to send up. Like, I'm waiting for the next person to come on, and I get another invite. So-and-so wants to join the party. I'm going to be like, son of a gun. So, Alysia, thank you so much for coming on. Brian, of course, it's always good to have you on. I'll probably give you a call in a little bit, Brian. And again, Alysia, don't forget to send me that picture. There's a reason why.
I will get you a picture of me for your thumbnail for sure.
Okay, good.
Does it have to be in my Orville uniform or no?
It could be whatever you want. It could be as long as I don't want a cartoon picture. I want a real picture of you.
Oh yeah, I have the cartoon ones, but I definitely have some real ones too.
Okay, yeah, I want a good picture of you that I could put up on my thing. Okay. I'm about to do it in a few. And Mr. Terranova, I will give you a call in a few. Okay.
Okie doke.
All right. Well, guys, I want to thank everyone else who joined us tonight. Mr. Terranova, Miss Alysia. Make sure you go to Miss Alyssa's page. Make sure you hit subscribe, like her stuff, show your love and support to her. Make sure you show your love and support to any and all Orville fan pages, from Orville Nation, Egotastic Fun Time, Orville 24/7, Orville Wiki, Orville Interactive, Orville Podcast, anything and everything that's related and dedicated to the Orville. Make sure you check out Terra Solo Pictures, everything related to Doctor Who, and anything related to Terra Solo Pictures, and anything prop related that's dealing with this man here, Brian Terranova, Terra Solo, and everything that he does that shows love to Doctor Who or Orville. And stay tuned for more updates, new guests coming up. And that's the one thing I want to tell everyone out there. I got new interviews with guests, some surprises, some things that you guys didn't expect, or people that you didn't thought I interviewed that I have coming up very soon. Stay tuned for new updates, more updates, new pictures, the whole nine, more big surprises. And as I always end every one of my episodes and shows, make every step you take a planetary one. We'll see you guys very, very soon. Peace and love, peace and hair grease. See you guys. I'll give you a call in a minute, Brian.